In Korea, there's a simple idea called Daechungso, and it means big cleaning because for a lot of us, winter means heavy bedding, tightly shut windows, and moisture and mildew. And our homes get dusty, stuffy, and stale. But by March, your house, it might even not look terrible, but it feels heavier than all those weighted blankets that we bought all those years back. Winter closes your house up, but spring is when you open it back up for business. Now, I am thinking that your solution and mine could be this kind of seasonal cleaning that focuses on fresh air, clean bedding, and clean floors. Now, Daechungso is something that the Koreans do after every season, I do believe. And I think that this is the perfect time to give it a go. Now, living on Vancouver Island, it is rainy, it is gray in the winter. So I know how long winter can feel. The sun, it actually came out this week and I was so motivated. And sure, it might be fall spring, but I don't care. It's time to do a little bit of a reset. So the very first step in Daechungso for me trying this out is to aggressively get some fresh air into the house. Now, I have actually done this a few times this winter. I opened up all of the doors, all of the windows, and just brought so much fresh air in, and it felt so good. But this week, it was 10 degrees Celsius, which is 50 Fahrenheit, and the sun was shining. So we took the cats and we locked them up in the guest room. They protested that they were not consulted about this new plan, but I did not care. I just let the house catch its breath with the gorgeous cross breeze. So if you're ever like, why is she holding her microphone or holding a tea? It's because I talk with my hands so much. I'm going to pick this up again, even though it's really hot. So you might be thinking, oh my gosh, that sounds kind of cold if you're going to open up all of your windows and your doors. And you know what? It is a little chilly, and I only do it right now with the temperatures that we still have for 10 to 20 minutes, but it is so refreshing. Even doing this in the middle of January, it is just so nice, even just for 5 minutes. I cannot even tell you, I am obsessed with it. Now, another thing that Koreans do is they put their blankets and their rugs out in the sun or fresh air. And even people in apartments, they will put things on racks by the windows. And this is so cool. I love it. And I remember my grandma doing this. She would even have she would wash her sheets, fold them, put them out in the sun. And I mean, those sheets smelled amazing. So I took a blanket that I was like, I'm going to put this on my bed now because it's spring. And it was just like, I put it out there. It smelled so amazing. Why the heck not? But I will tell you, I did get kind of carried away because that is my summer comforter. And it did smell so good when I brought it in, cozy and fresh. But then I was like, who the heck am I kidding? This truly is a false spring. So I got my big wool Hudson's Bay blanket and out in the sun to freshen up too. And sure enough, I was using that very blanket that night with my electric blanket because it still was like 0 degrees at night. But spring optimism meets Canadian reality every year, so you know. Now you might be saying, okay, so Koreans are not the only people that do this kind of like seasonal spring cleaning or whatever cleaning. And I know that, but it is nice to have a ready-made to-do list, isn't it? So if you think fresh air made a difference, wait until you see what the floors did. Look how pink my hand is because this is so hot, but I can't help but wave it around. So I'm gonna hold it again. So step 2 is bedding. Now I had just done our entire bed down to the mattress pad, the duvet, all of everything. But my youngest son's bed could use a refresh. And there is just something so satisfying about climbing into a fully reset bed with gorgeous fresh sheets. It feels like you just did something responsible with your life. And I tell you what, I sleep so much better on those nights. But I was like, okay, I'm going to do my son's bed so he could experience this too. And I did run into the issue of Crumpet's blanket. Crumpet is one of our disabled cats, and he sleeps with my youngest son. So I was like, we're obviously going to take care of that. Anyway, so I took everything off of the bed, washed all of the bedding. I vacuumed the mattress. I took a wet cloth with some, a little bit of soap, wiped off all of the wood, and that was really nice. And I put everything back on nice and cozy. The cat bedding got washed and put back on later too, because apparently everyone in this house deserves a spring reset too. When true spring actually shows up, I will definitely be putting lighter sheets on all of the beds. But the thing is, I am a real sucker for sleeping in like a super cold room, like 16 degrees Celsius, which is 60 Fahrenheit. And I will even open my window if it's not cold enough in the room to like 0 degrees Celsius to cool it down. And my husband, he will complain, but he warms up fast enough. And I love layering bedding, and so does my son. So realistically, we're not switching fully until April, but the seasonal transition is slow here. And honestly, if I waited to switch my bedding and to do my spring clean, it would be like May or something. So I'm not gonna do that. But seasonal transition, it's slow here. We don't have to rush it, or we just put things back. So I have decided after 4.5 decades of life, I think I'm finally learning. But this next one changed the whole feel of the house, and that is floors. So Koreans use in-floor heating, and they spend a lot of time sitting on the floor, and they have their bedding on or near the floor. Now, before we go on, I have a question. Do you sit on the floor? So I grew up in Canada, and it's a Western, society where we sit at, elevated, not elevated, but a Western sized elevated table. There's couches. Our beds are, foot or two off the ground. But do you sit on the floor? So when I was a kid, I sat on the floor all the time. We would lay on the floor. I have an uncle who literally lays on the floor, and he's in his late 50s, and he just lays there. So maybe that is longevity advice, who knows? But it made me think, if you're going to live close to the floor, then the floor better be clean. So this is really serious. Now, I vacuumed thoroughly, and I ended up cleaning the baseboards, or as my grandma would call them, the skirting boards. And it was actually my great grandma who influenced my grandma to call it that way, who was her mother-in-law. And my grandma used to clean for her mother-in-law, and she would say, "Did you clean the skirting boards?" So I don't have any idea how cleaning her mother-in-law's house went, but there were standards, it sounds like. So anyway, my back was so sore that day. I had been away and hadn't been working out for a while, and jumped back into it, and I was like so sore. So I used the wand on the vacuum to vacuum the top of the skirting boards, and then I vacuumed all around the whole level. And then it was time to mop. So again, don't judge me. I know many Korean housewives and non-housewives prefer to clean their floors by hand, and non-Koreans, many people like to use to get on their hands and knees and clean the floor. And I did that when I was trying the Amish cleaning routine last month, and I absolutely loved it. But because my back was so sore, I thought I'm just going to use the mop. Otherwise, at this stage of life, it will take me a little bit more than, a couple hours to recover. But sometimes God's just like, protect your spine, daughter. So anyway, I made up my mint floor cleaning stuff, which this is not sponsored, but I love it so much, and it smells like rosemary, and I'm surprised, honestly, at how well it cleans. I have been one of those people that Go Clean Co. influenced, and I had been using the Tide for a while, but instead I love this stuff. So I love it. So anyway, I always mop my kitchen. I go over it at least a couple of times, usually sometimes even 3, because it gets so gross so fast. And sometimes I'll even go and change the water, but I did that and it felt so good. And I did all around the first level, and the air was fresh. The floors were clean, and instead of being tired, I was weirdly energized. I was not expecting this. I'm obviously it was the sun, right? But I tackled the hall closet. I thought, you know what? Another good thing that apparently Koreans do, and a lot of other people do, is they will tackle some organization. They will swap things out. Again, maybe a little soon for that, but I know we don't need our super heavy coats anyway. So I pulled out all of the stuff from the closet, and I was surprised at how much stuff I still had in there. As a person who declutters so often, I'm always so surprised at how much stuff I still have that I can declutter. So I pulled all that out. The floor gets so dirty. I mean, I will just throw my boots in there. Everybody does. So it felt so good to get everything out of there. And I found 2 of my husband's jackets that he does not like. He's very jacket picky. So I'm probably going, actually, there's one fellow I know could use it. Who goes to my church, so I'm going to give him one of them, but then we'll sell the other one, but I'll probably wait until next fall, because that's, you got to sell stuff when the right time comes about. But also, I was surprised at how many shoes that I could donate. So that felt really good. And a few were beyond redemption. Don't donate shoes that are beyond redemption. Just go ahead and donate those. And when I tell you that vacuuming that closet was life-changing, I am not exaggerating. It was so satisfying. I made tea afterward like I had just conquered something significant. And sometimes a clean closet, it feels like winning the week. And for how often I end up like getting in there and doing the cleaning, winning the semi-annual award of forgotten jobs, mwah, I deserved my reward. I also filled half a garbage bag to donate, which surprised me. So when I get my nails done, which is in like an hour and a half, I can't wait because that's where I drop my nails or drop the stuff off right there. And I can't wait because I have this little Mickey that I got put on my finger and it just looks weird. Kind of just looks like, what the heck is that? So I'm looking forward to getting those in. And yes, there was a single mystery boot, and it turns out it was truly alone in this world, so it has since been released. Now, later that week, I got very excited to deep clean the windowsills. Now, I mentioned about the mildew that can happen, and this often happens with windows that are metal because the condensation is worse with metal than with plastic. So I don't have a ton of that, but there definitely is some, and it just feels so good to just get in there, spray it or wipe it, let it soak. Sometimes I get a toothbrush out and I scrub in there and just wipe it, and oh my gosh, it is just so nice to have those clean windows. And nothing says winter is over like erasing the mildew. Daechungso, it is so cool because it simply is just an end of season deep clean. Any season, and I think like that's why I'm glad I'm doing it now. I might even do it again in June, but September would be a great time to do it. It's nothing mystical, but it is just opening up the house, washing the bedding, cleaning the floors. And what I really like about it is that it's a list. It's just like okay, I can do these things and then other things I can get to. But I tell you what, I am not normally doing a deep clean around the windowsills. I don't normally get to that closet. And even when it comes to like airing out the bedding, I could do that more often. So that was really good. And sometimes all it takes is to shift your energy is tackling a bit of that. False spring or not. Now, I mentioned my Amish cleaning routine. So I gave a cleaning routine that a typical Amish woman might do a go right here. And I think you might love that. I hope something great happens for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If you're one of the many people that are watching that aren't subscribed, please subscribe. I would love to see you back here. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.